You gossip on average 52 minutes a day. Yes, you. Including you who is swearing right now that you're not that kind of person. Scientists strapped microphones to thousands of adults, counted every word exchanged in real conversations, and discovered that almost nobody escapes. The most disturbing detail: this isn't moral weakness, lack of character, or pettiness of spirit. It's one of the oldest and most important functions of the human brain, and without it, civilization wouldn't exist. Today on CastFacts, you'll discover why your brain releases the same pleasure chemicals when it hears gossip, why roughly 2/3 of all human conversations are about other people, and why science has finally demolished the myth that gossiping is something women do more than men. The first thing that needs to be clear is what counts as gossip to science. Forget the image of malicious whispering in the office bathroom. To a researcher, gossip is simply any conversation about a third person who isn't present. Speaking well of them, speaking badly, speaking neutrally, mentioning that your neighbor bought a new car, speculating about a friend's relationship, all of that is gossip, technically. And once you strip the shame from the word, you notice something strange. The entire human species spends the entire day doing this. And this is where things start to get interesting. The British anthropologist Robin Dunbar of the University of Oxford dedicated decades to studying this. His conclusion was almost uncomfortable. About 2/3 of all human conversations worldwide, across any culture, are gossip in the scientific sense. Talking about who did what, with whom, for what reason. This isn't a Western cultural quirk. It isn't a defect of the social media era. It's a universal pattern of our species, found on every continent. Dunbar went further. He proposed a theory that changed anthropology. Gossip isn't a side effect of language. Gossip is the reason language exists. Monkeys and apes maintain social bonds by picking fleas off each other, a ritual called grooming, which releases oxytocin and strengthens ties. It works beautifully, but it has a ceiling. You can only groom one individual at a time. When human groups grew beyond a certain size, physical grooming became impossible. You can't pick fleas off 150 people a day. So evolution did something brilliant. It created verbal grooming, a way to maintain social bonds with several people at the same time without needing to touch anyone. You only need to talk. And talk about whom? About other people, of course. Gossiping, from an evolutionary perspective, was the technology that allowed human beings to live in massive groups. Without it, we might just be another small, irrelevant primate species. Now your brain enters the story in an even more disturbing way. Neuroimaging studies showed that hearing gossip, especially about famous or familiar people, activates the same brain regions that process reward when you eat something delicious or earn money. The nucleus accumbens, the brain's pleasure center, fires up. Dopamine is released. You feel a small, real chemical high when receiving social information about another person. It's practically a hit. And, to complete the picture, gossiping also releases oxytocin, the famous bonding hormone, the same one your body produces when you hug someone you love. That's why talking about other people creates intimacy between gossipers so quickly. Your brain was literally sculpted to love this. Beating yourself up for it is like fighting your own heartbeat. Here comes the gut punch many people don't see coming. The counterintuitive twist of the story. In 2019, researcher Megan Robbins of the University of California at Riverside ran the most robust study ever done on the topic. Instead of asking people to report how much they gossiped, which always produces lying results, she equipped 467 volunteers with a small portable recorder called the EAR, which captures random samples of conversation throughout the day. The result: after analyzing more than 4,000 hours of real audio, the average adult gossips 52 minutes a day, and 75% of that gossip is completely neutral. Not positive, not negative, just an exchange of social information. Things like, "I heard he switched jobs," or "she's moving to another city." But the finding that finally blew up an old prejudice was this: women don't gossip more than men. Poor people don't gossip more than rich people. The only significant differences were that younger people gossip more negatively than older people, and that extroverts gossip slightly more than introverts. The rest is myth. Cultural stereotype with no scientific basis whatsoever. And maybe the most interesting twist is this: Gossip is one of the most powerful tools humanity ever invented to enforce cooperation on a large scale. Here's how it works. If you know there's an invisible network of conversations commenting on what you've been doing, you think twice before betraying, lying, or cutting in line. The mere possibility of being gossiped about already moderates behavior. Entire societies stay minimally honest because everyone knows everyone is talking about everyone. In lab experiments, when volunteers were told other participants could gossip about them afterward, the level of selfish behavior collapsed. Gossip became invisible police. And so deep down, science hands you a slightly uncomfortable truth: that wanting to know about other people's lives isn't a flaw you need to hide. It's a sign that you are, biologically and evolutionarily speaking, deeply human. Your brain was molded by millions of years to pay attention to who did what to whom, because knowing other people was always a matter of survival. Who you could trust, who you couldn't, who was generous, who was treacherous. All of that was literally life or death in the past. Today, we gossip about celebrities and coworkers, but the circuit is exactly the same. Your brain thinks it's helping you survive in the group, and maybe it still is. If this journey changed the way you look at that conversation you had yesterday, stay with us here at CastFacts. There's a lot more strange science of human behavior waiting for you.